All right, guys. So, understanding your why when it comes to choosing a job, career, major, life choices, things like that. This is a subject that kind of came up a lot over this past Thanksgiving weekend with people I've talked to, both older and younger, and choosing their majors and in the middle of their careers and wanting to change and do something completely different. Or, it's something that's come up a lot in the conversations I've been having. And so I think it's really important to kind of address why we're choosing to do certain things. You know, this is something for me that I've been kind of practicing on and really spending more time in answering that question. Now, a lot of people will say like, well, okay, why are you doing this major? Oh, because it's fun, it's interesting, it's a good salary, boom, 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 boom. But I think it's more important to spend a little bit more time going into more depth about understand like about your why into doing it versus like, oh, it's interesting, it's fun, it pays well. I think it's really important to understand your personality and where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. And obviously you want to play to your strengths and your interests and things. So really a lot of understanding your why needs to incorporate a lot of understanding who you are as well. And so being able to understand who you are and your strengths and your interests and things, and kind of navigate from that and using that information to kind of help figure out what direction you need to take when it comes to just navigating your job and career path is really important. For me, it was, I think, when I was younger in college, I kind of was like, oh, this is fun, this is really interesting. Like for me, I went into athletic training, and so it was something that was interesting to me. I loved the subjects, the classes. I started doing the clinical rotations, and I like being around athletics, and it was really fun. And then so I just I chose it, went with it, and kind of rolled and with it, and kind of the rest is history. Been doing that now for a little while, and now I'm kind of in this transition where I got to a point where like, what, I'm not really sure if I wanted to do this for the next 50, 60, or 70 years or whatever. So for me, it's kind of still figuring out where my path is ultimately, and kind of what what like I feel like I'm destined to do. It sounds kind of cheesy, but it's just I just wanted something a little bit more, and it just was something that kind of integrates into my life a little bit better. We spend so much of our lives working that I think it's really important to look at it instead of work-life balance as work-life integration, because I think I think it's something it's more integrated in your life than it is looking at it as a balance, because you work way more than over the course of your life than having like personal leisure time. But understanding, but anyway, back to the topic. Understanding why you're choosing something, I think is massively important. And if you're at a job that you're not happy at, or you want to change, understand why you're staying there. And ultimately, if it's not tailored to you and your happiness, then I'd recommend just trying to figure out, okay, well, what changes do I need to make to set myself up so that I can find that. And so, it's really easy to kind of get caught in the comfort zone and kind of stick with, your job or career path. And I understand everyone's financial situation is a little bit different. Some people have, there's expenses, families, student loans, and kids, and stuff. Like, people have different financial situations. So I get it. I'm empathetic to that. But I do believe that you need to find a way to if you're not happy, you need to find a way to kind of get out and find out what it is that you want to do and what will make you happy. Now, if it's the same career but a different job, that can definitely happen. I've had a lot of people that were questioning their career choice and their profession, but realized that it was actually the job, that organization or company that they were working for, not necessarily the actual career. So first things first, I would experiment. Personally, I would just try different within your field, because if you're not sure, at least just feel it out. Try different positions within your field to see if it's whether it's the job, organization, or environment that you're specifically working in, and use that to kind of tell you, well, is it the job itself, or is it the career? And then if it's if it's something that's still not fulfilling to you, then understanding why you're not happy about it and making changes accordingly. Now, this is another thing, is actually making changes to make your life better in the long term. It's also hard because now you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and when you've worked a long time in a career, or early on. This I don't, you're not sure who's listening, whether you're old or young. If you're young, you got plenty of time to figure it out. I'm 35 and still figuring things out, but it's life is long, and you got to spend the time to figure out what you want to do, and it's okay to change your mind and try different things, because that's just a way of life. It's just it's like food. When you just try different food, you're not sure if you're gonna like it or not. You got to try it, and then if you're like, oh, I hate it, okay, well then you don't do it, and you just or you don't eat it, and you try something else. Same thing with job majors and careers, and so. But that's something that's I've been working on a lot to try and kind of help understand more about myself and understanding why I'm doing something. And for me, and understanding my strengths and weaknesses. And so I want to tailor to what makes me happy, what tailors to my strengths, and basically what kind of incorporate what I enjoy kind of doing on the side into whatever career that I can. And then you do a little bit of research and you kind of try some different things and you feel it out. But I've for me personally, I enjoy studying finance and personal finance and money management type stuff. And so that's something that I've been interested in. So I'm trying to figure out if that's something that I can incorporate in with job or career. But that's a whole nother topic and conversation. I don't want to anyway, but just something that I've learned over the years. I've navigated a lot of different jobs over the last, I've been a certified athletic trainer for almost 8 years now, and I've worked kind of all over: college, NFL, football. I've worked with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes, and I've kind of done a little bit of everything, and and now I kind of want to explore things outside of that realm. And I don't know if I'm going to end up back here doing athletic training or somewhere else. I don't know. But I know that doing the things that interest you at the moment will eventually lead to an interesting future. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think a lot of people will look too far ahead into the future and think 5-10 years from now, here's my 5-year plan, 10-year plan. Like, it's too hard to gauge. You just never know what curveball life throws at you. So I think just, having some long-term goals, but more, instead of like this job, having general long-term goals of like, okay, I want to be, happy. I want to be, like having some sort of goal that gives you some sort of flexibility, because, a lot of things change over the years. If you would have talked to me a few years ago, I mean, it was football, no matter what, and then over the years, that changed. And I would have never, I was not, I was pretty much set on that. I pretty much got super career focused and laser focused, nothing else. There's nothing else I wanted. I just wanted to work football and be around that environment. And, and then, like I said, I kind of grew to realize, like, what, maybe I need something a little bit different in my life. And, so now I'm just kind of focusing on that. So I urge you guys to spend the time in understanding why you're doing something, and make sure that it's you're looking at chasing long-term goals, okay, not short-term satisfaction. Making sure that it's, if you guys are chasing, if it's like the title, the money, approval from your parents, or you just want people to think you're awesome or you're really cool, those are, it happens a lot, but it's very short term. So really spend the time to look out for yourself, understand why you're doing it. And if you're not happy and it's not something you want to do, then change it. And I know it's hard, but like, hopefully that answering that why question, if you're in a position where you're just not happy and you need to change something, then hopefully that answering that why can help you to work on starting to, either leave, whether it's working on the side part-time and saving some money and then eventually quitting, or if you have saved some money, you can afford to quit now, or you just change that, whatever the case is, understand where you're at. It's not going to be easy, but life is long. And so you really gotta, you're going to spend most of your life working, like I said, and to not be happy and not enjoy what you're doing is just, I don't know. It's not a life I want to live. I want to make sure that I enjoy my process and enjoy life, and kind of take it as it comes, and just find things that are interesting to me, and then try it, and take those experiences with me and let it carry on to the next thing. So Hopefully you guys find some value out of this. I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. I appreciate the support. Those of you that have shared it, I appreciate it. I'm gonna, do my best to try and be consistent with it. I will be bringing on people to interview and share their life experiences, and so that'll be fun and that'll be interesting. I'm really excited about it. If you guys did enjoy the podcast, if there's anything that kind of stood out to you, let me know. Tweet me on Twitter or reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm all over on different social media platforms. Reach out, message, phone call, email me, whatever. If you guys have questions, I'm an open book. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. So we'll talk to you guys later, and you enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. All right. Peace.